Hello guys, and I want to start this video with a question. Maybe you will help me to understand this phenomenon. What is wrong with this world when after years of Russian war against Ukraine, tremendous Ukrainian resilience and thousands of Russian crimes committed against Ukraine, there are people who have ideas that Ukraine should give up some territories for the sake of what? Of course, this will not lead to peace. This will lead to a greater, more bloody war in a couple of years, or maybe even in a couple of months. There are no reasons for us to give up our territories, and this will definitely inspire more of the authoritarian regimes to break more borders. This is crazy, but still so many, including leaders of democratic countries, traveling the world and spreading the ideas. They have a plan, and quite often they repeat the plan of Putin, a criminal. There is an international criminal court warrant to arrest him. He is not a politician anymore. He is a criminal. And of course, his peace plan is not about peace. Let me tell you more what we think about these ideas and why from an ordinary Ukrainian perspective. My name is Anna, and I vlog daily from Ukraine since the start of the brutal Russian invasion. So if you're new to the channel, you support Ukraine, please subscribe and help us fight against Russian propaganda, fake news and their fake peace plans. And my longtime friends, check your subscription status and hit notification button. Together with many beautiful and strong pro-Ukrainian voices of YouTube, I have to confess, I believe democracy is in danger. This world is extremely chaotic and turbulent, which is super good for authoritarian regimes. Many people are afraid, and of course, fear is the worst thing you can have with you when fighting against violent, brutal enemies. We don't have to be afraid. That's the only way to survive and to win this war. Believe me, most of the Ukrainians have lost their fear. I'm sure those of you who watch my daily videos cannot describe me as a terrified little woman. Because bullies, they feed from our fear. They are inspired by weakness. No one in Ukraine will accept giving up our territories. You know that Putin's recent peace plan wants Ukraine to give 2 more regions, Kherson and Zaporizhia, regions that Russians did not manage to occupy with their army, with their missiles, with their tanks, with their violence. They did not manage to take these regions, and they want us to give them for what? For a bloodier, bigger war quite soon. At the very start of full-scale invasion, when global leaders believed, even our friends believed, that Ukraine will collapse in a couple of days, we did not agree on such conditions in Turkey or elsewhere because we've learned on our mistakes. Yes, the annexation of Crimea was the greatest mistake that the democratic world has made when allowed Putin to get the territory without serious consequences for him. And he took it as a green light to continue. No more such mistakes. If you ask Ukrainian people, and that's actually important when deciding our future, the future of Europe and the world, we believe we will win this war. 90+%, according to official surveys, believe that Ukraine will win this war after daily shellings and destructions. Today, Russia targeted a trade center in Dnipro, killing 6, injuring 50. We have blackouts, we have air raid alerts, our relatives are mobilized, and we know we will win. So why people far away from Ukraine, far away from this dangerous doubt? That's not good. And if you're new to the channel and you share my feelings, remember to subscribe. This is the easiest way to demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine and help us spread more information. This is important. So, I'm sure you understand that no one in Ukraine accepts the idea of giving up our territories. First of all, we are strong. We have our army, we have our allies, we have our victories, and we have lots of plans how to defeat Russia. Russia is weak. They have lots of problems in military and lots of problems, economic problems. They are lying about their GDP and other stuff. Their currency is equal to zero. They are losing. But this process is, of course, difficult and quite long. Another thing to understand is that these are not just territories. These are people's homes. These are people's lives, memories. It's just like giving up the town of your grandmother. Would you agree on that in your country, in your place? Of course not. But even if we forget about Ukraine, Ukrainian people, their feelings, there is one very important thing we have to understand. If we continue treating Putin as a politician, we continue talking with him as a political leader of a real country, and we give him what he wants, the territories of Ukraine, after thousands of civilians killed, after lots of Ukrainian hospitals, schools destroyed, after tortures of Bucha, Mariupol, after executed Ukrainian prisoners of war, after thousands of stolen Ukrainian children, after so many official war crimes committed, with OSCE saying it is a genocide, with the International Criminal Court saying these are war crimes in Ukraine, and there are warrants to arrest the Minister of Defense, former Minister of Defense of Russia, the president, so-called president of Russia, and many more people. What will this mean? That all the world is too weak to stand against bullies, to stand against murderers, and that by force you can take anything you want. So if we ever agree on this kind of peace plan, supported by Putin, for example, Orban, or some other people in the world, and if Ukraine is made to ever accept it, I don't believe this will ever happen, but this will be a precedent, a very vivid precedent, saying that any stronger country can get anything it wants from a weaker country. There are no international agreements working, and actually all of the borders on the planet do not matter anything. And you'd be surprised to discover how many frozen conflicts actually disappeared or were invisible only because countries and their leaders and their people agreed to follow the rules, agreed to follow these agreements. This is actually vital. This is what helped our planet live. Because if you look back in history, these borders, they traveled like crazy. In the 19th century, the map of Europe, the map of the United States or North America was different. There are so many conflicts hidden. And we all agreed that we want peace, that we respect these new borders, and if we give Ukrainian territories to an aggressor that violently killed thousands of civilians, that disrespects all of the agreements, this is a precedent saying no more rules. I don't know why people don't understand that, why I have to speak about that, why so many still see an option in Putin's peace plan. As a Ukrainian, I'm really worried about the peace plan that President Trump says he has, but he does not say anything about this plan. And it's about life, it's about the survival of our people and our country. Of course, we cannot just agree on something we don't know what is it. But Putin is non-negotiable. Putin is a criminal. He is not the person to talk to. He cannot be a part in any agreement because he is a mass murderer. Guys, please help us share this message. Please help us remind people that by being afraid, by doing what a hijacker, a criminal wants of you, you cannot get peace, you cannot get freedom. You will get more and more troubles. And if other authoritarian regimes like China, for example, sees that, okay, Putin broke all the rules, broke all the agreements, he killed thousands, and he got new territories. So for all of his crimes, he got new territories, he got all he wanted. Why on earth would Putin then stop and not take other Ukrainian regions and other European regions? And why won't China attack the countries it wants? Or some other countries next to you? You'd be surprised to learn. If rules do not exist, people become very bad. And this is crazy that these ideas seriously circulate our media. This is dangerous, and not just for Ukraine. Stop being afraid. We are not afraid. What we are afraid of is not Russian violence. We are afraid of this fake neutrality that some people put on their faces when they simply want to continue trading with Russia or to escape believing that they can escape this evil. No, you cannot. This evil has already been born. It is already here. Believe me, Russia and China are already fighting in the Third World War. And the only way for us to stop it is to defeat them. To defeat them, not to talk with them, not to try and persuade them. They consider us weak as long as we talk with them. All they understand is the language of force. And if they are given anything of what they want, believe me, they will continue. No negotiations with Russia, no advice from China, no ideas from Orban. And of course, we will never accept a plan that we don't know. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below, and thank you for sharing and likes and subscriptions if you're new to the channel. This all helps spread more important messages, because this is a very decisive moment in history and not just of Ukraine. Remember to join me on Instagram, Threads, Discord, and X. We have a beautiful merch shop with lots of items that work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel, and helping me film and write more. I'm very grateful to have you in my life, and I'm also very grateful for all the support that we feel, for all the conversations that you hold in your countries to remind people this is a war between the democratic world and the authoritarian regimes. And we must win. We will win. Slava Ukraini!